Did anyone else notice that this year's Super Bowl commercials were just kind of troubling?
Yeah. Oh.
And maybe troubling is a strong word. I should say generally weird, because yeah, they were. And low key, I think it's kind of indicative of like where we are as a society right now. Because at least for me, there were like three main standouts of like the type of commercials that were being played at the Super Bowl. And that was either something about GLP-1s, ads made completely from or to promote AI, and or crypto gambling and just betting. And as for that last one, we do have a video coming out a little bit later talking specifically about the sports betting, gambling of it all that we're seeing go on in culture right now. So I'll leave that to a future Rumi to break that down. But for the sake of this video, let's talk about the first two because we just can't move on. Because I think what's going on here is so strange and just needs to be talked about. Hey guys, what's up, Imurgency, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're here just for the yaps. And what we're yapping about today are Super Bowl commercials, specifically the Super Bowl commercials this past year. Because honestly, I think this year is unlike any other year for the sheer amount of just like dystopia core that I feel like was all over the Super Bowl commercials, because Super Bowl commercials have historically been, outside of the halftime show and I guess the actual game, one of the main pop culture mainstays. Like, people look forward to watching the Super Bowl commercials, which we could have a whole conversation over how that is super duper capitalist and how we all got tricked into celebrating and anticipating being sold to. But again, today we're just yapping. But I think in comparison to prior years, this year definitely dropped the ball. Like, the people yearn for a time where they're just being sold Doritos and I don't know, beer. But now with the commercials and ads that we are currently getting, it all sort of feels a little, I don't know, predatory and just generally strange. Because for one, the stakes this year have just gotten so high. Like, please someone tell me why there is a full rollout campaign just for a 30-second commercial. Like, truly, why are we having announcement trailers for Super Bowl ads weeks before the Super Bowl? Like, that concept blows my mind. Because why were we getting Sabrina Carpenter Pringles ad trailers? Like, having an ad trailer for the ad to come is absolutely nuts to me. And like, this is no shade to the artist, because I know Sabrina got paid, and in fact, being in 2 trailers, I'm sure she got double paid. I love that for her. But like, as a company advertising to the audience, why is that a thing? And why are we eating it up? And I think social media is part to blame for this, because you know, content is king, and these brands are actively spending money on these ad spots and aren't really getting anything immediately in return, at least in terms of upfront. Like, again, they are spending money to advertise. I think the cheapest Super Bowl ad spot is like $8 million for a 30-second spot, all for the sake of visibility and things like soft power and all of that. But when it comes to things like ad trailers, I feel like they can monetize off that more. Like, that is then money coming into them because they're posting that on social media. They're getting all the organic buzz from it and also able to monetize off of the clicks, the views, the reshares, and all of that, like any other creator does. So again, I do think social media is to blame for this. I do also think that corporate greed is at the forefront, as it so normally is, because again, they are making some money, but we're then also being advertised to twice. And this whole shakeup of the traditional ad campaign, at least in relation to the Super Bowl, goes even further, because not only are we having trailers leading up to the ads, we are also having full press runs for advertisements. Like, what, again, I have to say, what are we talking about? Like, I absolutely love them, but Cat's Eye. If you're not familiar, Cat's Eye has gotten quite the buzz recently. They've been everywhere and just performed at the Grammys, got a lot of backlash at the Grammys, but generally are doing fine. But over the past week, they did a press stop over at the Jimmy Fallon show where they talked about a lot of things. They talked about their formation as a group. They talked about them performing at the Grammys. They also like hinted towards their upcoming single or album that they have coming up this year. But a large portion of that interview, and honestly one of the more viral parts of that interview, came from them essentially doing press to promote their State Farm ad that they had running at the Super Bowl. And again, I'm not downplaying that. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. Like, I am so happy for them, and I love that they're getting their bag and they're getting those mainstream cosigns to make them the it girls that they all are. But I think it's so wild to see the corporate mishmash here, because again, people tend to only go on talk shows when they have something to promote. It's usually a part of someone's press run. They're either directly promoting an album, or they're directly promoting a book or some campaign that they're on. So for them to spend a a large chunk of their interview talking about the State Farm ad that they're doing is wild. Like they even had Jake from State Farm there present, interacting with him in the audience, making TikToks and Instagram reels with him to then go and preview the dance that they did in the State Farm ad for the Super Bowl, which is wild to me. Like, how did we get here? Like the whole marketing campaign behind these Super Bowl ads has gotten so out of hand. And on the surface level, like who cares? Like it's all in good fun. They did a fun dance. It was a viral moment. My thing again is not so much on the people in the ads, it's in the concept of these ads leaking into so many other aspects of our media outside of just the commercial and what it means for these brands and these commercials to be doing so. Because again, they had Cat's Eye doing all this to bring all this buzz and to get people excited to watch their ad, only for them to show up in literally 2 seconds of the advertisement, which at least to me as a fan, I feel kind of cheated. I don't know. I know that they did post an extended cut on their YouTube, but even the concept of that, like if you want to see them fully perform, you got to watch the full ad on YouTube, you know, the same ad, just a little bit longer and one that State Farm can directly monetize off of. It's just so odd. And outside of those two, if you saw any of these Super Bowl commercials this year, you'd know like the whole vibe this year was just strange. Like so many of the commercials were just blatant AI slop and like no one on their team seemed to care. Like I don't get that part. I don't know if they thought that like if everyone just made an AI slop ad that like we just get used to it and it'd be fine and we'd normalize it. And the concept of normalizing AI slop in mass media, insane, because you can tell the quality is different. Like everyone knows it's AI. Like you're not even using the good shit. Like no shade. Like if everyone can tell that you're using AI, like if even the Facebook moms can clock your tea, you know, the same Facebook moms that be sending their kids those videos of like a cat doing backflips can tell that your ad is AI and fake. Like were we even trying? And again, I'm not saying that to say that the goal is to dupe people, but like, girl, if you're gonna do it and spend $8 million on advertisement, at least pay for the ChatGPT premium. And you really just gotta think like, what was the idea behind that? Because like the whole Pepsi ad of it all, at least if my memory serves, was in response to a lot of backlash that Coca-Cola got for like the Mariah Carey ad being AI and very bad. Saw that that didn't do well. Why would every other brand then go and do the same thing? Maybe they thought the outrage marketing from it would work, and maybe they were right because I'm here talking about it, but it's just like, damn, what are we doing? Like, and the AI usage of it all was just so weird because a lot of it was used for the sake of nostalgia. Like the Dunkin' Donuts ad using AI to have like younger versions of movie and TV characters in their ad was a choice. And I don't think that any of these commercials really landed in the way that I think they were hoping, or at least in any of the ways that us as viewers were expecting. Because again, the Super Bowl commercials are something that people look forward to historically because of the creativity and the art that goes into them. Like if we're detaching the advertisement portion of it all, a big appeal to these commercials is that the budgets for these commercials are much higher, meaning that the art form of storytelling and marketing can really be at the forefront. Like standout commercials are telling stories that haven't been told before, or are getting really creative with the way that they are retelling a story, if that makes sense. Like I remember the Doritos ads being super big back in the day because they would just be so high budget and so funny and just so creative in the way that they're expressed. And a commercial that will forever be cemented in my mind as like Super Bowl commercial gold is that one commercial of Tiana Taylor dancing, and I think it's a music video. I forget who the artist is that she's dancing to, but I just remember how good she looked and how T her body was. And I think that was my first introduction to Tiana Taylor as like a little kid. And I just saw her on that gym floor hitting that. And I was like, oh, she's taking it. She's taking it. That's all I ever want to be. But now fast forward to today and we have commercials of Mike Tyson being a spokesperson for RFK Jr. talking about how he used to be fat and nasty. I have to pause 1 second just to really emphasize the fact that the phrase fat and nasty got greenlit to go on national TV. Like, terrible. But no, they really had him on there trauma dumping all in the name of like eliminating processed foods, which period we should all be limiting our processed foods. But to then have the ad be endorsed by the administration is a choice and is very interesting. Then fast forward to the ICE ad that was played directly after Bad Bunny's halftime performance. Like, y'all are sick. Like, y'all are truly sick because I know you get to pay for your placement and where you get to put your ad. The fact that an ICE commercial ran at all, sickening. But the placement of it all made it even more sinister in my opinion. But in the spirit of Bad Bunny, we will talk about love over hate. And what I did really love was that halftime performance. Like, Bad Bunny slid. Like, I loved his performance so much because it provided so much cultural nuance. Also had so many of his hits, and the general production quality of the whole performance was just chef's kiss. Like, I think his performance was such a powerful moment, especially right now, and seeing how he was able to provide that representation to the country and to the world, representing Latin and Latin American culture just so outwardly. I love it. Although I will say that the Gaga appearance was random as hell. And you can let me know in the comments if I'm missing something, but it kind of just seemed to me like if he was going to have a big moment, he wanted to bring one of his top divas out to party with him. And real. Like Ricky Martin, I completely understand why he was there. Gaga specifically singing Die With A Smile, I don't know. I think there is some symbolism in that song given the whole context of like what's been going on in the world, but also, again, random. But enough about Benito for 1 minute. I needed the fan out. We need to talk about the amount of Ozempic ads that were ran this year. And when I say this, I want to clarify that I am by no means an Ozempic hater or a GLP-1 hater. I think you should do whatever you want for the betterment of your health and for your own body. But I do also think that the prevalence of these Ozempic ads are so striking. Like, it was very striking because you don't see this much advertisement for any other kind of substance or any other kind of drug. And it just really feels so nuts to be in this timeline right now, because it feels like when you zoom out and look at all the things that they're trying to sell us, that we are closer and closer to the Wall-E timeline than ever before. Because think about it, the messaging for most of these ads are essentially just selling you drugs to get skinny, getting you on apps and websites to gamble and spend your money, and to normalize AI and other LLMs to essentially do your work for you. Oh, and don't forget about the cutesy reminders that we actively live in a surveillance state, but like package it up really cute with like a story around a lost dog. Right. I'm looking at you, Ring. And then, sorry, can we talk about that one commercial that was like a spin on like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, essentially incentivizing you to use AI to do your job so that you can have a day off? Like, again, on the surface level, really cute, really tongue-in-cheek, really funny. Like, oh my God, yes, AI is advancing, so like now you can have like more time to yourself. But like, taking off the rose-colored glasses and looking at reality, this is actually just like the first step in normalizing us not working. And again, us not working is not inherently a bad thing. But when there is no replacement for the work that we are no longer doing, and we are no longer getting compensated for the work that we are or not doing, where does that leave us? Like, there are already mass panic and mass fear around like AI replacement in jobs. So to have a commercial essentially being like, yeah, like this is happening, like, what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Like, is this not ringing alarm bells for anybody else? Like, in like grand scheme, is anyone going to be harmed by like a year of bad or strange Super Bowl commercials? No, not necessarily. But I do think that commercials, or at least like advertisement media and marketing, are indicative of where we are as a culture and where we're going as a society. So I think it's just generally important to analyze the media that we're consuming and the messaging that is being laid out before us. Because yeah, times are changing. We are living in a time where things are very uncertain. Money is generally tight for everyone, and there are multiple things on many different fronts for us to worry about on a day-to-day basis. So given all that context, seeing these commercials and advertisements have these massive, grandiose rollouts way ahead of the actual Super Bowl, to then seeing these brands spending upwards of $8 million for a simple advertisement, again, just to tell us to get skinny, use AI, and gamble, like, in my opinion, is just a tell of the times and not a great one. And personally, I don't care for what they're selling because I'm not buying it.